Okay, welcome to the next lesson. So this is going to be some more worded problems and some application questions as well. So remember, we need to get used to doing big questions, and we talked about a couple of approaches in the last applications lesson. So we're going to use the same approaches in this lesson as well. So have a read of this question. Sum of two numbers is 96, and the difference from the bigger number from the smaller number is 68. We need to find the two numbers now. Remember, one of the tactics we discussed in the previous applications lesson was first define your variables. Okay, so what we can say, maybe x is the first number and then y would be the second number. Okay, so once you define your variables, you have something you can solve for and make equations with. Okay, so we know that the sum of two numbers is 96. So pretty much x plus y is the sum is going to be 96. Next, we know the difference between the bigger number and the smaller number is 68. Now, we don't know which one, if x is bigger or y is bigger, so, we can't really tell until we find out once we actually find out the variable, what the values of x and y are. So we can just write x minus y, assuming x is the bigger number, is equal to 68. Okay, from here you can just solve. Okay, so guys, how do you solve this question? Remember, you pick a variable to get rid of. Let's say I pick y. Now, do you add or subtract the equation to get rid of y? Well, y plus negative y is going to be 0. Yes, so you add. But whereas if you did minus y is going to be 2y because you add. So it's not going to happen. So we're going to add both these equations together. Okay, plus. So 96 plus 68, that's a big number. 68 is 164 is 2x. So 2, because x plus x is 2x. Plus 0, 96 plus 68 is 164. Yeah, should be fine. So you have 2x is equal to 164, guys. What is x is equal to? Divide both sides by 2, x is equal to 82. Okay, let's do that next. Next, you can sub 82 into either equation. So let's sub it in. I'm going to sub it into equation number 1 here. So you have 82 plus y is equal to 96. Y is equal to 96 minus 82. So you're left with, what's that? 14. Y is 14. Okay, let's quickly double check though. What is 82 plus 14? 82 plus 14 is 96. That makes sense. The sum of two numbers is 96. And what is the difference? 82 minus 14, guys. What's that? 82 minus 14 is 68. That works out. See, we found x and y to make it happen. So x is 82, y is 14. Well done. Let's keep going. Again, I want to pause this video and have a go at question 3, guys. Again, label your variables. What are your variables you're trying to find? And once you have a go. Okay, I hope you had a go. Please do. I want you guys really have an interactive experience. So I want you guys to be trying these questions. It's really important that you try. So let's start. Firstly, we need to define our variables, right? So let's read the question. Home is home to chickens and cows. There's 37 heads, okay, and 120 feet in his paddock. The question is asking for how many chickens and how many cows, right? So what should our variables be that we're trying to find? Well, it should be the number of chickens and the number of cows. So I'm going to say C would be number of chickens, and K, or not K, what's a good variable to call cows? Maybe M, because cows moo, I don't know. You can call it whatever you want. M is the number of cows, okay? You define your variables. Now we need to find the equations to solve for these variables. So maybe we can use this information. He counts 37 heads and 120 feet. Okay, let's think about that. So how many heads do chickens have? Well, chicken has 1 head. So if there's maybe 10 chickens, then you're going to have 10 heads from the chickens. Well, because chicken has 1 head. Then if you have maybe 20 cows, well, then you're also going to have 20 heads. So if you add that together, well, you got total 30 heads, right? So do you see that's the sort of logic I'm going for? So pretty much the number of chickens is the same as the number of heads, or the number of cows is the same as the number of heads from cows. So in other words, what I'm really trying to say is the number of chickens plus the number of cows, because each of them only have 1 head is going to be 37. So C plus M is 37. Okay, I hope you got that. If not, we'll look into more detail. 120 feet. Well, I hope you know this. How many feet do chicken have? Well, chicken have 2 feet. That means if there are 10 chicken, they're going to be 20 feet. 10 times 2. Okay, and how many feet do cows have? Well, cows have 4 feet, right? 2 at the front, 2 at the back. I hope you don't know that, because if you don't know that, I can't help you. Okay, you have to know the cows have 4 feet. It's pretty logical. So if you have 20 cows, then you need to multiply by 4. Then the number of feet that the cows will have is 80. So what do we do from here to here? We multiplied by 4, because cows have 4 feet, and then the number of feet for chickens is times by 2. Okay, so that's pretty much our equation. We take the number of chickens and multiply it by 2, because if one chicken has 2 feet, maybe 10 chickens have 20 feet. That's the logic. Plus the number of cows, and we multiply it by 4. Same logic, is equal to 120. Okay, boom, that's it. Now we need to solve. If you haven't already, why don't you pause the video and try solve this equation? Okay, I'll do it then. I'm going to actually use elimination, substitution instead, right? So again, 2 equations, just for practice sakes. I'm going to use substitution. So I'm going to take c to the other side. So then I can say m is equal to 37 minus c. Okay, which then I'll sub into equation number 2. 2c plus 4 multiplied by 37 minus c is equal to 120. 2c plus 4 times 37 is 148 minus 4c is equal to 120. Okay, big numbers, but we'll keep going. 2c minus 4c is negative 2c, and then, so I'm just collecting like terms, and we have to do 120 minus 148 if I take it to the other side. So negative 2c is equal to negative 28. C would be, if you divide by 2, 14. So there are 14 cows in the paddock, or whatever, his farm, Old MacDonald's farm. So next, we need to find the number of, these are chicken, I'm sorry, 14, because remember we said C was the number of chickens, so remember, so that would be number of chicken is 14. So you can sub 14 into the equation number, this equation here, to get the number of cows. So m is equal to 37 minus 14. So I replace the c with 14. So the number of cows is 23. So 23 cows and 14 chicken. There you go. That's Old MacDonald's farm. Old MacDonald had a farm. There you go. All right. I hope you understand. We'll move on to the next question. All right. Again, pause the video. This one's a little bit trickier, okay? But see if you can have a go. Okay, pause. Do it. And we'll go through it. So let's read the question. The difference between the denominator and the numerator of a function. Remember, denominator is the bottom of a function and numerator is the top of a function. Hope you know that. Is 2. So that let's actually draw this function in, okay? I'm gonna make my function this, my fraction, sorry. The top, I'll just say the nominator. Oh, instead of x, let's use n is the nominator. And I'm going to say d for denominator. Okay, so these are the 2 variables I'm trying to solve for. So numerator and denominator. The question is saying that the difference between the denominator and the numerator, right? So that means d minus n is equal to 2. Difference between denominator and numerator is 2. That's literally what the first part of the equation is telling us. Next, so this one's a little bit trickier. It said if 5 is added to the numerator and 3 is subtracted from the denominator. Okay, let's see. 5 is added to the denominator means n plus 5. Okay, and 3 is subtracted from the denominator, and they're saying this happens in the fraction. So 3 is subtracted from denominator means d minus 3. The whole fraction is equal to 4. Okay, so it was a little tricky, that one, the second equation, but we got it. So n plus 5 over d minus 3 is 4. So we got equation number 1, which is the difference is 2. Equation number 2. So now this one's a little tricky, we need to solve for. So what I'm going to do to make this, because we're not used to fractions. What do I always say, guys? We don't like fractions. We hate fractions. How do you get rid of the fraction? Well, you take both things and multiply by the fraction. So I'm going to take the left side, multiply by d minus 3. And I'm going to take the right side and multiply by d minus 3 as well. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So then I'll have n plus 5 over d minus 3. You can think of it as in brackets, multiplied by d minus 3 is equal to 4 multiplied by d minus 3. So take both sides, take the fraction to the other side. So as you can see, again, cross simplification, because it's in brackets, you can think of it as one thing and cross it out. Okay, so you're left with n plus 5 is equal to 4, if you expand the brackets, 4d minus 12. Okay, so let's get this into some form that we're used to. Okay, what we're used to is having all the variables on the left and the number on the right. So what I'm going to do, sorry, it's a little messy, promise to be neat in the future. Okay, so I'll take the 5 to the other side and I'll take 4d to the left. So you have n minus 4d is equal to negative 12 minus 5 is negative 17. And look, this is our equation number 2. We just rearranged equation number 2. Okay, so let's write both our equations next to each other. So you have d minus n is equal to 2. That's equation number 1. And the second equation is, I'll switch it around as well. So you got d's lining up. So you have negative 4d plus n is equal to negative 17. So all I did was I just swapped these two around so our equations line up. So I have d and n next to each other. Okay. So from here, guys, we have a simple simultaneous equation. We've been learning how to do this in the last lesson and this lesson as well. So what do? I think I'll use elimination. It's really simple. N has the same number, technically 1 and 1 in front of it. So how, do I add or subtract to get rid of the variables? I need to add, right? Negative n plus n is 0. So that's why I need to add the two equations. Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to say plus, wrap my brackets, d plus negative 4d is negative 3d. Negative n plus n is going to be 0. 2 plus negative 17 is negative 15. So in other words, negative 3d is negative 15. Divide both sides by negative 3, you're going to have 5. So the denominator is 5. Next, we need to find the numerator, n. So I'm going to sub 5 into equation number 1 because it's the easiest. So we have d, so 5 minus n equals 2. Negative n is equal to negative 3. If I take 5 to the other side, n is equal to 3, right? So we have our answer. Well, are you guys happy with this question? That's it, we're done. But hang on, no, we're not. What is the question asking for? Remember, these questions can be very tricky. The question is clearly saying you need to find the fraction. Well, we found n and d, but we never actually said what the fraction was, right? So what is the fraction going to be? You can say, therefore, fraction is the numerator. What's the numerator? Is 3 over denominator is 5. So the fraction is actually 3 over 5. Okay, make sure you read the question carefully. You can do all that work and not get any marks if you mess up. Just the last part. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Next question. Smash it on. Next, there exists a 2-digit number. The sum of the 2 digits is 13. The digits will reverse and the new number is 9 more than the old number. Okay, so again, it's a little bit tricky. But again, pause the video, have a go, try, maybe even make a start. Okay, just define your variables. Let's get started. Okay, I'll go through this question. So let's define our variables first. Let's say x is my first digit, and y is my second digit. So technically, for example, if x was, let's pretend if x was 3, for example, x is 3 and y is 5, my number would be 35. That would be my number. I'm just saying, that's an example. They're saying that the sum of the 2 digits is 13. Okay, x plus y is 13. That's fairly simple, guys. It's really easy. So maybe let's make y 10, or no, it's 1 digit. So let's make x 4 and y 9. So then 9 plus 4 is 30. These are examples. They might not be the actual numbers themselves. I don't know. So then x plus y is 13. Now, this next part is the trickiest part of this question. They're saying that the digits were reversed. Okay, the new number is 9 more than the old number. That's interesting. That means, let's say my number right now is 49. Okay, and if I reverse the digits, the new number is 94. That this new number should be whatever the old number was plus 9. But you can see in this example, it's not the case. So we have to find this relationship. So firstly, guys, let's say I have 49, right? If I just have 4 and 9, just 4 and 9 separately, how do I actually get 49 as a value? As in, what equation can I make? I can't just do 4 plus 9 because that equals 13. Doesn't make sense. So how do I get the actual value of 49? This is how I do it. If I take the tens place, so the first digit, and I multiply by 10 plus the second digit, well, that will give me 49, right? So if you have individual digits, that's how you get the whole number overall. Okay, so if, for example, I'll give you another example. If I have a digit 26, okay, remember the digits I have is 2 and 6. How do I get 26 as the actual value? I need to take 2 multiplied by 10 plus the units, the 6 is going to be 26. So that's how I get the actual value if I just have individual digits. Okay, now we're going to use that same logic over here, right? We know that the first number is xy. The first number is xy, not x times y, is the digits. Pretend it's digits, xy. Okay, so what's the actual value of that number? It would be 10 times x plus y, because that's literally how, the same logic is what we did here. So the first number is 10 times x plus y, the first number, xy. Then what's the value of the second number? The second number, they said they swapped the digits around. So the new number is actually yx. Again, not y multiplied by x, no, it's yx, the number. So how do you get the value of this number? The new number is 10 times y plus x, same logic what we did before for the previous question. So this is the old, this is the new. I hope you're with me so far. Then they're saying that the new number is 9 more than the old number. So whatever the old number was, if you add 9 to it, because it's new old number plus 9, it should be the same as the new number. Look at that, we have an equation. That's it, guys. So step by step how I did it, I find the old number using the logic I said here, and I find the second number, and if I add 9 to the old number, I can make it equal to the new number. I hope you got that. So with that, most of the work now, all we have to do is kind of solve these equations. Okay, so pretty much this second equation, we have equation number 1 up there. Let's try simplify equation number 2. Okay, I have 10x plus y plus 9 is equal to 10y plus x. So let's take all our variables to the left, and let's take all our whole numbers to the right. So I have 10x minus x, because I took the x to the left side, and then plus y minus 10y, and then I'm going to take a 9 to the right side, so it's negative 9. So I took all the variables to the left and numbers to the right. 10x minus x is 9x, y minus 10y is negative 9y, is equal to negative 9. Okay, so that's equation number 2. Okay, I hope you're with me so far. Almost done, I promise, almost done. So now we need to solve both of these equations. So let me just get some space. So why don't you guys have a go? Pause the video and have a go at solving both of these equations if you can. I'll go through it right now. Okay, so our first equation, x plus y is 13. And then we have 9x minus 9y is equal to negative 9. Okay, so pretty much this is what we're trying to solve. How would you guys do this? Well, actually, there's one sneaky way you can do it, is if you divide everything by 9, divide the left side by 9 and divide the right side by 9, then what you can do is 9x over 9 minus 9y over 9 is equal to negative 1. So pretty much 9 and 9 cancel, you have x. 9 and 9 cancel, you have minus y is equal to negative 1. So that's even, you can simplify it even more. Okay, so then what you're left with is all this in the middle is gone, and all you're left with is x minus y negative 1. This is really easy to do, guys. We've done this plenty of times. So I'll decide, I'm going to maybe make the x's disappear. So I'm going to select x. So how do I make x disappear? Well, I need to subtract. X minus x is 0. So I need to minus the two equations. Let's do it. So minus x minus x is 0. Y minus minus y is not 0. Remember, y minus negative y is y plus y is 2y. So 2y is 13 minus minus 1 is actually 14. The minus minus makes plus. So then y is equal to 7. Y 7. Then sub it, same thing, find x. So sub it in x, sub it into equation number 1. X plus 7 is 13. X is equal to 13 minus 7 is 6. Okay, are we done? Read the question carefully and think about it. Are you done? What's the question asking for? Oh, guys, I'm sorry, I made a quick mistake. I never said what the question is asking for, but the question is basically find the number. Okay, my bad, I should fix that. So the question is pretty much asking for find the number. So what is the number? Well, we said x is the first digit, so the number is 6. Y is the second digit, so 7. 67 is the number that we were looking for. Okay, hope you understand. Let's keep going. Okay, LeBron and Kobe, basketball again. All right, have a go at this question. Pause the video. And I'll do it. LeBron and Kobe start 2 kilometers away from each other and start running towards each other. So 2 kilometers away, it's key. And LeBron runs at a pace of 10 kilometers per hour and Kobe runs at the pace of 12 kilometers per hour. Okay, so that's their speed. And remember, what equation do we need to use here, guys? The distance, speed, and time equation. Very common, this one. So remember, we said up here, right? Distance is equal to speed multiplied by time. That's a basic equation you need to know. So if you haven't already, pause the video and have a go. Let's see. Diagram. Okay, what I would do for any distance, speed, and time questions, what I would do is always draw a diagram. So I'm going to say LeBron is here and he's away to Kobe. Kobe is on the right. And this distance is 2 kilometers per, just kilometers, 2 kilometers. Okay, so LeBron is going to the right. How far right is he going? He's going to, how fast is he going to the right? His speed is going to be 10 kilometers per hour. So 10 kilometers per hour. Okay, and we don't know the time he takes. Time is question mark. Okay, we'll say time that LeBron takes is X. Okay, for example. That's our example. Next, Kobe. Kobe is going to the left. His speed is going to be 12 kilometers per hour because Kobe is faster than LeBron. And then time that Kobe takes, let's say, is Y. Okay, so if we have speed and time, then what can we find? We can find the distance. The distance that LeBron takes is 10x, right? And let's say he gets to this point here, for example, this distance would be 10x. Okay, LeBron runs 10x kilometers. Next, what's the distance that Kobe travels? Kobe travels speed, remember distance is speed multiplied by time, is 12y. That's all I did here, by the way, guys. 10 is his speed, and then x was his time, so 10x is his distance. So let's say this is the meeting point, so this is where they meet, they're in the middle. So then Kobe's distance would be 12x. So 12x is the distance from here to here. That's the distance Kobe traveled. And 10x is the distance there to there. That's the distance LeBron traveled. So almost done, guys. So how do we get the overall, how do you find x and y? Well, we can say 10, I should say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It should be 10y is the distance Kobe traveled. Let's think about it. So then 10x plus 12y, if we add both the distances up, what should it equal, guys? It should be equal to, 2 kilometers per hour. Okay, now that's equation number 1. Okay, I got you guys started. I want you to pause the video and think about how you're going to get equation, because we have 2 variables, we need 1 more equation. I want you to pause the video and tell me, how would you get the second equation? Okay, I hope you got the second equation, guys. It's kind of a little tricky. I haven't really shown it to you yet, but it's in kind of, you have to read the question carefully. How long does it take for them to meet, right? I said the time LeBron takes is X and the time Kobe takes is Y. But when they reach this point, the time that they run is the same, isn't it? Because when they reach at that point, they've been running for the same amount of time. That means Kobe started at the right, started going this way, and he stops here. That amount of time it took for Kobe is the same amount of time it took for LeBron to go from the left till that meeting point. So what I'm really trying to say is that the time taken for both of them to meet each other is the same, right? They're on the same timeline. They started at the same time. So then for time for them to meet is the same. Okay, so really what your equation really should be is, it's this simple. X equals Y. X equals Y is equation number 2. Simple as that. Okay, so again, we need to use substitution for this question. So I'll replace Y with X because X is equal to Y. So I have 10x plus 12x is 2. Then 22x is 2. Collect like terms. X is 2 divided by 22. Okay, and you need to simplify that fraction. So x is equal to 1 on 11. Remember, it's a measure of time. So you can't just leave it as 1 on 11. It's 1 on 11 hours. Hours, why? Because we use kilometers per hour. That means time is in hours. So what's the time that it takes? Well, we can say time is equal to 1 on 11 hours. Okay, 1 on 11 hours. Or you can use a calculator and convert to minutes. Okay, so I would do 1 on 11 times by 60 to convert into minutes. And let's say we round it to 2 decimal places. Let me just do it. 60 over 11 is 5.45 minutes. Okay, that's how long it takes for them to meet. Okay, so a bit of a tricky question. That was a bit weird. All right, I hope you guys understood everything. Okay, that was a bit of a challenging lesson there. But you saw the basic idea of how you approach these questions. You either draw diagrams, you define your variables, and start breaking the question up into little pieces, little manageable pieces until you get the answer. Okay, it's really important you guys get this topic because it will be in a lot of your SACs and tests and exams and all that. Okay, hope you guys understood. I'll see you soon.